All right, hours away from California's primary election day, and voters have been casting their ballots now for nearly a month. And tomorrow evening, we will start to see the results in some of the key races.
And one of the most closely watched races is the contest for California's open U.S. Senate seat. More than 24 people are competing, but 4 candidates have emerged as the front runners. Democrats and members of Congress Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, and Barbara Lee, as well as political newcomer Republican Steve Garvey.
Okay, so let's talk more about this race with our political reporter Greg Lee. I know that you've been spending some time talking with the 4 campaigns today about heading into tomorrow.
Yeah, and the focus we've been talking about has been turnout, and that is going to be key in this race especially. The 3 top Democrats in this race traveling up and down the state, making their final pitch to voters. They are all being challenged by a late addition to the field, Republican Steve Garvey, who's seen his support grow steadily. This expensive battle to fill this rare open seat comes down to tomorrow. The final push to the ballot box in California's hotly contested U.S. Senate race. The top 4 candidates in a crowded field crisscrossing the state trying to get out the vote.
The future is in your hands as voters. I hope you'll get out and vote.
Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff went door to door in the Castro Monday morning, talking to voters, touting his experience in the House.
I'm very proud of my record of delivering mass transit, bringing back millions to find affordable housing for people to help deal with the epidemic of homelessness, my efforts to pass California's Patient Bill of Rights.
But people have found a voice in me where they're standing up and saying, I've had it. We want to send Steve back to Washington. We want his voice.
A newly released poll from Berkeley IGS shows Republican and former baseball player Steve Garvey pulling ahead of Schiff for the first time, followed by Democrats and House members Katie Porter and Oakland's Barbara Lee.
Washington needs to pay more attention to California. We are the biggest state, we have the most people, and we are not always getting Washington to focus on our issues.
My campaign is a multiracial, multi-generational, progressive coalition.
The contest to fill the seat long held by the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, breaking spending records. According to Ad Impact, which tracks political spending, more than $65 million has been spent on ads so far, the most expensive Senate campaign in state history. Schiff responsible for the vast majority of that, many of his ads featuring Garvey in an effort to set up a general election showdown.
He went from playing first base to now playing politics and out in deep right field. But look, he's out of step with Californians.
And what he's saying is, I want to go against Garvey. Well, be careful what you ask for, because people have always said, don't underestimate number 6.
Porter criticized Schiff's tactic of elevating a Republican. She defended her ads that featured Eric Early, another conservative in the race.
This will create more cynicism about politics and about politicians. And so, look, we have spent the vast majority of our advertising budget and our engagement budget on positive messages.
Early turnout is trending historically low. Older conservative voters outpacing Democrats, data that favors Garvey. As these 4 candidates battle for a position in the top 2, they're urging people to get to the polls.
The point that I want to make today, though, is that everyone has got to get to the polls to vote. And we have so many trusted messengers who are out there canvassing, phone banking.
And as we know, all 4 of these candidates have spent a significant amount of time in the Bay Area because they know the pockets are deep and that voters are incredibly politically active.
Yeah, sure makes a lot of sense. Okay, Greg, I appreciate it. And we are obviously joined here in studio by our political analyst, Brian Sobel. Brian, let's talk about this Senate race. Obviously very closely watched and highly contested here. It sure looks like, based on the polling, that the Republican Steve Garvey and Democrat Adam Schiff appear to be headed for a face-off in November. But we'll have to see how things shake out tomorrow. You see any scenario where any of the 2 other Democrats can squeeze into that top 2?
Well, I think Porter has run a good race, but if you look at how this has been transpiring, Adam Schiff has run a brilliant race around excluding his Democrat opposition in favor of the Republican. It's very simple as to why he's doing it, and that is because he knows that given registration, trends, everything else, Steve Garvey doesn't have a big chance in November. So Schiff has really been going after his opponents, and you see it in his media buys.
Yeah, critics, though, would label that as a cynical approach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To campaigning.
Porter did, absolutely.
Greg, though, let's just say that Garvey does, in fact, win tomorrow. What type of momentum do you believe that gives him heading into November.
Well, the numbers have all been there for Steve Garvey, right? He's gotten this race 5 months ago. The polls have continued to increase from him. Certainly Republicans and conservatives are coalescing behind him. But as Brian said, the numbers writ large for the state are not there. Registered Democrats outnumbering Republicans 2-1. We haven't seen a Republican win statewide office since 2006. So there's a lot of history and numbers against him. But if he does come in first tomorrow, it'll be a kudos to Adam Schiff's campaign and the ads that he's run. But you're right, he could see some momentum. The question is, will it be enough to get him to November and have him be competitive there? The odds are against him.
Yeah.
So it has to be sustained over many months as Schiff begins the campaign against him.
But one thing to keep in mind is that he hasn't spent hardly any money.
No. And hasn't had to, because Schiff has spent $25 million in lifting him up.
Well, exactly. Every Schiff ad talks about Garvey.
Yeah.
So
he's benefited for free.
It's earned media in a big way.
Yeah, sure is. Let's shift, if we can, for a moment and talk a little bit about the presidential election here, because obviously we know tomorrow 15 states and 1 territory holding their primaries tomorrow. It feels like it's sort of the last stand potentially here for Republican Nikki Haley here. Do you think that there's any way that she can stop a Super Tuesday sweep by former President Trump?
Well, there are a lot of delegate votes tomorrow, enough to put Donald Trump, if he were to sweep, very close to the number. All eyes will be on American Samoa. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, really? I missed something.
I am kidding. No, I am kidding. No, if Nikki Haley, in all seriousness, were to take half those states, maybe she's got enough momentum to kind of take it a little bit further. But tomorrow may well be the end of the line for Nikki Haley.
Yeah, and if so, Greg, and we think what's going to happen tomorrow is what happens, right? And it's former President Donald Trump and President Biden. How do you see their strategies changing come Wednesday morning?
Well, they've both their camps have been looking forward to tomorrow, to sort of turn the page and focus on the general election. We saw them both at the border last week. They've really honed in their attacks on each other, and this is very much going to become part of the story if things go how we expect, because there hasn't been a lot of drama at the top of the ballot, that they can focus now on the general, and they can figure out why 70% of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden.
Yeah, starting to kind of reshape those messages for both campaigns. Political reporter Greg Lee, our political analyst Brian Sobel. Appreciate you both being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.